So pour a glass of craft beer, we can do this. Yeah.
What's good, y'all? This is C Certified Brewhead, and welcome to another video here on BAOS. This evening, we're doing something a little different. We want to talk about how you can support your local breweries during both the current COVID-19 pandemic and the incoming recession. This is something that I've seen a lot of chatter online about. Tiff and I have been talking about it quite a lot because clearly the craft brewing industry is very important to us, and being the nature of their business, a lot of the business anyway, is to come into a physical place, like to a tap room or to a bar or whatever, to eat and drink. They're going to be some of the hardest hit by all of this. So what we want to do is explore a few ways that you can support your local breweries during this time. So to do that, we felt what better beer to do that with than Dominion City and Lost Nations Friends and Neighbours Double IPA. This was a collab they released recently. It's an 8% double IPA with Citra, Simcoe, and Galaxy using Lost Nations house yeast. So they're Lost Nations. I can't remember what city they're in. Does it say? They're just in like northern Vermont. They make some fantastic beers. So, yes, let's take a look at this bad boy. Slip down. Woo! Look at that head. I feel like, I don't know if you guys remember, if you guys were ever watching us back in the day, I used to do that. I haven't done this in ages, but do my review photo during the shoot. You know what? This is a bit of a throwback right now. Ready? Everyone open your mouth with me. Glorious, just because it's such a full, pretty ass glass. So, first and foremost, cheers to supporting local breweries. Get that in you. Ooh, that's nice. Just like, gimme. Oh yeah, that's bold. Exactly what you want. Yeah, this is just like such a great concept for the beer for this episode. So we've outlined. It's nice, right? Yeah. Super juicy, creamy, tropical, dusty, chalky. Fantastic. So we've outlined a couple ways. I'm going to refer to my phone here, and the first way you can support your local brewery during this strange time of life that we're going through is to order online. Now, Dominion City have taken this to the next level, which is why we want to drink this during the episode. They introduced drive-through pickup, for God's sake. It is incredible. So you can order online, pay online. You pull up to, they have a special garage at the side door with a sign on there. You pull up, they wash their hands before they take your order number, they get your stuff, and they pop it in your trunk for you. And then you drive off and you don't touch anybody and you've already prepaid. It's genius. It's so sick. But most breweries in Ontario have an online store. So you can order anywhere across the province and they'll ship that out to you from there. Now that is one really, really easy way to do it. Outside of Ontario, I can't speak to it as much. Here in Quebec, unfortunately, they don't have that, and I really, really hope that they're going to bring that in. So if a brewery, say you're in a place like Ontario and they have that, and there's got to be other places across Canada and the US, etc., that do offer online stores. I know in Europe, like the McKellar shop, they ship all across Europe and stuff. So everywhere has their own unique, ridiculous alcohol laws. So look up your local rules and see what's popping. But if you're, say, in Ontario and you've got a favorite brewery of yours, I don't know why I'm holding this, that doesn't have a online store, I would suggest to request that they start one. They may not be able to, they may not have the resources, they may not be interested, but it is one way for them to continue to get business completely off, without having people to come in, and they can get it across the province. So legally in Canada, you can't ship across provincial lines, which sucks. I mean, you can, but legally you can't. So that's one way. Now, if it's something outside of Ontario that has a system that already is legal, so say in Quebec they don't, one way you could actually appeal to the local member of parliament to be like, in this time it's about to get pretty hectic, instead of going through probably what would take years to get it approved, perhaps they might just push it through. They're doing a whole bunch of things. People are fixing eviction laws and suspending internet caps, I've seen as well, for internet cable companies, things like that. Things that like have been a nightmare for us since forever. They're fixing like that because they're arbitrary as fuck and it's ridiculous. So this might be one time they might come through. So consider doing that wherever you are and see if that's one way they can help. So that is that one. The next way you can help support breweries is to send a friend to go pick it up. So we read something today that were called, I think it was called like isolation cells or something like that. So right now, Tiff and I are under self-quarantine mainly because...
Not self-quarantine. We are choosing to...
Is that the same thing?
No, the self-quarantine means you've been exposed. And you think that you need to self-quarantine. We're choosing to practice social distancing.
Practice social distancing. So we were in Vermont last weekend, and because we were out of the country, even if it was briefly... This was before everything went crazy, because it only happened in a few days ago from now. So while we were there and all week, everything was pretty cool. Even people in Vermont washing their hands constantly. We're Lysoling everything down. We're using hand sanitizer. Like, I was quite impressed with how serious they took it. We decided to do that for ourselves just because, I don't know, caution. I'd just rather not get anyone sick. Yeah, I don't want anyone to get sick, and because of us, and just in case we were, because we did leave. It wasn't far. It was literally over the border. It might as well be the same place. But anyway, the reason I was mentioning that was you could send a friend. So say, like, maybe you don't have a car, maybe you don't have, you're not able to, maybe you're not close enough or whatever it is to get to a brewery. You could send one friend who's also been in somewhat of an isolation situation, at least someone who's not continually exposed, because then that cross-contaminates all the exposure. So if you could send somebody else to go pick up a bunch of beer for a bunch of people and then meet them to pick it up, that could be one way that you can get around having to leave and having to go and expose yourself or others to anything. I feel like that's a pretty good way to do it. Even if it's not from a brewery itself, you'd be able to do it. Go to a dépanneur, if it's here in Quebec, specialty beer store, the LCBO or beer store in Ontario, so on and so forth. Just sort of like combining efforts and be like, all right, I need this, this, and this. Like, whoever's doing it is the real hero here. But it could be just one way to make it easier for everybody. I think that could be a fun one.
Also, because contract breweries don't have breweries.
And specifically as well, contract breweries don't have a physical place of business. So the only way to get a lot of contract breweries and keep supporting them is to go to the DEPs, the specialty beer stores and LCBOs and so on and so forth. So sending friends to go pick up beer is another one. Now, what a beer. Next, buy merch. Most breweries, I don't think I know a single brewery that doesn't have merch. Buy their merch. And almost every brewery, even if they don't have an online store for their beer, they'll have an online store for their merch. So if you can't go there, if you're going there to pick up beer, get a hat, get a t-shirt, get a hoodie, get a key ring, get something extra to give them a little bit more cash. But most breweries, and that the merch tends to break all the alcohol laws in the sense of I could order a hoodie from Modern Times in California and they'll send it to me here in Montreal. So that's one way to do it as well. Just get some merch and any way to sort of show them support and give them cash. Another great way you can support a brewery is buy gift cards for later. Now, you're going to visit them at some point. So being that now more than ever, they're going to need that income as opposed to 2 months' time. Hopefully, if things pass by then, we'll be able to get rid of this sooner than later and just things will get back to normal. So you're going to use that gift card later. You might as well get it now. Drop $50, drop $100, whatever it is. That will mean the world to them, and that just allows you to be able to know that you're helping support that brewery in a time when they need it the most. And, a lot of things aren't in their favor in this situation. So gift cards is key. Next is show up. Now, this is a very particular one because every single region has different rules. So, for example, I know in Montreal today, the day of filming this, the Premier released a statement that all bars and bars and sort of not even non-essential, but just bars and libraries and public pools and things like that had to close. Now, they are letting restaurants stay open because restaurants are going to take some of the burden off the grocery stores, which is important because if you've been to the grocery store, you can't get shit tickets, you can't get Purell, you can't get shit, man. It's crazy. So if there is a brewery that's available and they are doing the right thing and they're keeping it clean, most of them would be doing that, I would imagine. They also have that rule, I think you have to have X number of meters between groups of people. Definitely show up to the brewery. Now, a lot of them also don't have tap rooms that are open to consume beer in. If you can't do that, show up and buy beer to go. And that will probably mean a lot to them as well. Because I know, think about it, it's not just the breweries, it's the staff. And those hospitality workers, arguably some of the hardest hit in this situation. So definitely support them by doing that, depending on where you are. Now, if all of those things might not be able to work for you, ask them. Shoot them a message, an email, a DM on social, and just say, how can I support? What is going to help you? And they'll let you know what you can do to make their lives easier. And I think that's a really key one because every brewery, might have a specific way. They might be like, well, if you do this, this could help them a shit ton. I really feel like that's a great one. That was Tiff's idea, and I think that's the perfect one here, is to just ask them what you can do. They might say, well, if you can afford it, because also a lot of the drinkers, People might be reduced shifts or out of work completely or whatever. There's all sorts of different situations. So not everyone can financially help, but just ask them how you can help. I think that's a really good one. Buy direct. So unless you're the type of person who isn't, or like maybe you don't live near stores, or maybe you just prefer to go to an LCBO or something like that in Ontario, or a specialty beer store, just so you can get a wide range of stuff. If you go direct, that money's going to be in their pocket from that second. If you go through any sort of third party, unfortunately contract brewers don't have a choice for the most part, but if you go through a third party, it's going to take a while before that money reaches down the chain and gets in their pocket. So the best way is to go directly at any stage to the breweries, to give them that money and make sure that you're supporting them and their staff and tipping the staff, like I said, getting the merch and a gift card and all that type of stuff. So go direct. Now, the last way that you could help breweries in this trying time is to promote their stuff. So if they've got new releases or whatever they might be doing, I was about to say events, but no. Just anything that they're dropping, share it on social. Give them a retweet, put it in your stories, post it on your feed, whatever you can do and you feel comfortable with, give them that. That costs you nothing at all. And that, particularly if you've got a brewery that's maybe done a lot for you, that you spend a lot of time in, that means a lot to you. If you're a regular at a lot of these places, you'll know the owners, you'll know the bartenders, you'll know the brewers probably. So even just giving them those social shares just mean the world to them. And it can really help broadcast that message out. And then hopefully others will be able to do similar things to what I've talked about tonight. So they might be able to send a mate to go get some beer for them. They might just turn up themselves and pick up some stuff. They might order online. They might buy some merch. They might buy a gift card. You see where I'm going with this. So all of the above are just some of the ways. And I bet I've missed something. And if I have missed anything, please leave it in the comments below. Let us know how you think we as a craft beer community can support our local breweries. And I think the key word here is local. There are some ways to support breweries in other places, such as the gift cards or the merch or whatever, based on the variation of liquor regulations and laws. It's not really possible to always be able to get the product, the actual beer, from different places across the country. I mean, you could trade with somebody, say, once again, it's not technically legal, but if you were to give it a crack, you could have a friend in Vancouver or something, and then you could trade with them. They would purchase beers locally, you would purchase beers locally, and then you trade. And then everybody kind of wins that way as well. But I'm not condoning it, goddammit. I'm not condoning it. That is it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, smash the thumbs up, hit subscribe below, hit the notification bell.
Ding.
So you know when the new drops. Follow us on social media at BAOS Podcast. Check out the long form audio. We have our season Against the Grain going right now. For what's going to happen next, we shall see. Hopefully we can still continue getting these interviews done. We'll keep you posted on that. That is it, guys. Once again, thank you for watching. Stay safe and get it in you.